how the wellness walks along the Poudre River is benefiting community members.
Then we will dive into how CSU's Veterinary Department is assisting the homeless population, as well as how students are planning to spend their Halloween during COVID-19.
All this and more on CTV, starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Robbie Patla.
And I'm Wadsworth. We have a packed show for you tonight, so let's get into it.
College application season has begun, and many prospective students are in a rush to include CSU on their lists.
For the third year in a row, Colorado State University has had the highest rate of applicants out of any other Colorado college or university on free application day. Heather Daniels, director of CSU admissions, was concerned yet relieved about the outcome.
And when I saw that we got over 10,000, I was just so excited. And I was really excited, of course, for us and the work that we put into it, but then also just that students across the state of Colorado are thinking about college and applying during this time.
COVID-19 has impacted the college preparation process for many prospective students, but that hasn't kept them from applying. After the day was over, more than 10,000 applications were received by the admissions office. These applications consisted of first-year, transfer, and second bachelor degree students. Daniel said the admissions team did a lot to promote the free app day, using the school's new virtual format to their advantage to match their previous strategies.
Obviously, nothing can replicate an in-person experience. So if we're able to meet with students in person, I think we could do app workshops on campus. We could do app workshops in the schools. We've done those in the past, but I think we could do even more leading up to free application day.
Instead of in-person workshops, the Office of Admissions held a series of virtual events to help prospective students fill out their application and supplied customer service. The Office of Admissions has a few plans for the rest of the year. They plan to incorporate more interaction between incoming and existing students and improve their virtual tour experience to make the admissions process.
Daniels and her admissions team are hard at work to ensure that this year's enrollment process is as smooth as possible for all incoming students.
In the time of coronavirus, it's not hard to imagine being quarantined for long periods of time. But for some Colorado State University students, they didn't have to imagine. Hundreds of students at Colorado State have been quarantined as a precautionary measure, sometimes being away from their dorm and normalcy for weeks at a time. But Housing and Dining Services, along with Colorado State University Alumni Association, have tried to make isolation a little easier. The two services devised a sort of care package that could be offered to students in quarantine. Those in isolation or who are preparing to move into it make a list of items they would want to keep them occupied in quarantine. Some of the items included art supplies, spa items, snacks, and even small plants. Then students or family members could buy those items for the prospective student and have it delivered to them. The care packages were sent out last week, but with COVID-19 numbers still rising and the university's plans to open again next semester, there's no telling when the next wave of care packages may be needed. Now, Robbie actually did have to go into quarantine earlier this semester, isn't that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, do you want to tell us some more about that?
I'd be happy to. Quarantine was definitely not my brightest hour. It wasn't fun, and it's certainly safe to say that the coronavirus is becoming more dangerous in town. Last Friday, the CSU community received this email from the Pandemic Preparedness Team with an important message. The Laramie County Health Department issued an emergency public health order because of a rise in local COVID-19 cases. The order explains that the county is currently in what's called Safer at Home Level 1. This includes a call to limit indoor and outdoor gatherings to no more than 10 people, alcohol sales to cease at 11 p.m., and more. If the situation gets worse, the county will move to Level 2, which will mean more restrictions on businesses, restaurants, sports, you name it. So the Pandemic Preparedness Team asks that you do your part to take care of Fort Collins as the university finishes the fall semester.
Yesterday, Colorado State University closed due to the extreme first snowfall we had. For many students, this was an opportunity to relax, rewind, and even catch up on some schoolwork before fall break begins.
It was nice to have everything off, but at the same time, I didn't have any classes on Mondays anyways, so it didn't really affect me that much.
It was nice. Yeah, it was a nice break from stuff. Just been working a lot, and then school's a lot too, so it was a nice break for sure.
As the temperatures continue to drop going forward into the last few weeks of the semester, Colorado State University has released their guidelines for other winter closures. Decisions for campus closures are made by the public safety team by 5:30 a.m. for overnight storms. The team takes into account road conditions, the condition of campus, and recommendations from public school statuses and the City of Fort Collins Emergency Management. Should the school close down, you will be alerted via a university-wide email, but you can also sign up for text message alerts by texting 970-491-7669. Again, that number is 970-491-7669. There's still no word on how winter closure will affect online classes now that many student semesters have moved partially or fully online, but we'll keep you updated with more information as it comes out. Now, we talked a little bit about how students were impacted by their snow day, but how did you spend your day off yesterday?
I spent all day yesterday getting my grades up. How about you?
Me? Well, I personally had to work all day, so it didn't really feel as much like a snow day for me as I would like, but I did get to sleep in a little bit, so that was nice.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to talk more about our snow days and what we did, I think we need to get into some more news.
Right away. In other news, this afternoon, Tom Perez, the chair of the Democratic National Convention, came to Fort Collins to meet with local Democrats. Perez is visiting Fort Collins a week away from the national election because he believes that Colorado is an important state to win for the Democratic Party. He spent an hour talking with people and handing out signs with other volunteers to spread the word about voting for the Democrats. Colorado is a key state for Democrats, with John Hickenlooper looking to take away the senatorial seat from the Republican Cory Gardner. Perez also talked about the importance of the youth vote in the upcoming election.
Young people can make a huge difference all across the United States. And frankly, Donald Trump is counting on young people to stay home.
Anyone who still wishes to vote before the election on November 3rd can always find to do so at larimer.org.
With the social distancing and gathering restrictions in place in Larimer County, Colorado State University students may have to get creative this year with their plans to celebrate Halloween.
COVID-19 cases continue to rise and gathering restrictions are tightened in Colorado. As we move into the holiday season, how will students at Colorado State University celebrate the upcoming Halloween this year? Gatherings are limited to 10 people or less, and when together, a mask must be worn at all times.
Coronavirus may have impacted Halloween this year, but let's take a look at how Rams are keeping the spooky spirit alive in their own way.
Fortunately, I'm not going to be doing anything. But there's always next year. Hopefully COVID's gone by then and can actually enjoy it.
I'm going to be honest, like sometimes where it's like it would be fun to go to a Halloween party or something like that, but me and all my roommates decided that we're still going to dress up as the Incredibles.
We're just going to have our own Halloween thing just between us.
COVID, so I'm actually playing it pretty safe right now. I'm not really going to any in-person gatherings, certainly not without a mask on. So yeah, my plans for Halloween are pretty tame this year relative to past years. I think just maybe doing a Zoom call with some friends, and that's about it.
We're going to try to incorporate masks into our costumes and see just like some safe friends and stay socially distant, but just kind of hang out and still try to do something to make it special.
Celebrating Halloween can be something social or personal for different people. And as this Halloween passes, it will be one that people will likely remember for years to come. Ren Wadsworth, CTV, Channel 11.
While this year's spooky celebrations may look a little different, Rams are still making sure they celebrate their Halloween in style.
School was not the only thing put on slight pause this weekend, as the snow also slowed down the Cameron Peak fire. Firefighters were pulled off the lines to make snow travels less hazardous. But this is not all bad. Looking at the flames, fire commanders are expecting at least a few days with no fire activity. But with the heat still trapped underneath and dry air still part of the forecast, firefighters will need to be on their toes in case the fire comes back to life after the snow melts.
Children going hungry during a global pandemic are not easy words to hear, so researchers at Colorado State University decided to do something about it. A study at CSU is helping to promote food security in children. The researchers studied how food and goods were distributed and how these tactics can be improved upon for future years. The study mainly focused on emergency food distribution to children of low-income families, but data collected in the study could potentially be applied to a broader range in coming years.
In these hard times, it's tough to get by, especially for the homeless community. But having a furry friend by your side can provide companionship and security to those who need it. However, what happens if your pet gets sick? Luckily, CSU is lending a paw to the homeless community and their pets. The Veterinary Medicine Department and the faculty and students in social work have teamed up to create a weekly event where people experiencing homelessness can have access to free health care for their pets. This is possible due to the partnership with Street Dog Coalition, founded by CSO-trained veterinarian Dr. John Geller. Every Tuesday afternoon, Geller and a team from CSU meet at Mercy Center for Hope to offer free pet health care to those who need it.
COVID-19 has created financial stress among many, and Colorado State University police warn that scammers may be taking this to their advantage. A recent scam created a fake account that parodied the CSU PD's number in an attempt to trick students into purchasing bitcoins, and prior to that, an email that looked like it belonged to a university employee messaged students about fake job offers. The campus police have listed some red flags to watch out for when an email offer seems too good to be true, and what to do to protect yourself. They warn that you should be wary of unsolicited messages with high-pressure tactics or threats. You can keep yourself protected from online scammers by researching the name or organization that is attempting to contact you.
Well, Ram, sadly, that is all the hard-hitting news we have for you tonight.
But don't go anywhere, because Samantha Medley is coming up next with your entertainment scoop, so stick around.